I think that the journey of David is parallel to the modern history of the Jewish people in the second part of 20th century and the beginning of the 21st.
He studied in Haifa and left Israel in the 50s and became one of the leading businessmen in the community, not only in Israel, but also in the United States and Canada. He started from scratch, and it's only with his 10 fingers. That's all.
There is no question that David is a visionary, and his history is the best proof of it. Came from the ashes of Poland, the Holocaust, became one of the leading developers in Israel, but not only developer, he created a system. He created a change in the whole Israeli landscape.
For Canadians, I think my father is an example of what you can do as an immigrant in this country.
When David Azrieli arrived in Montreal, he had to work at 2 jobs to make a living. But his goal always, he was inspired to develop. And he began by buying a small plot of land in Montreal and building four houses, and he couldn't sell them, so he rented them. And that was the beginning of the Azrieli real estate empire.
He loves Canada. I mean, he feels that Canada gave him some of the most important chances in his life, and he very much wants to give back. He feels very similarly about Israel, but I think more profoundly. Israel in the 40s gave him life.
I asked him, what brought you as a guy of 17 years old to come to Israel and everything? He said, that was my dream, to come to Israel and to build a country.
You have to understand, the late 70s when he came in, Israel was in a very, very desperate position. Inflation of a few hundred percent a year. And nobody believed that he would be successful. I remember the first time I met with him, I thought I'm dreaming. Not he's dreaming, I'm dreaming. And the dream became a reality.
He changed the whole consuming habits of the Israelis, and he changed actually the business life of Israel.
As an architect, he knows how to integrate architecture and great architectural ideas with social needs.
Without people like David Azrieli, in 63 years, we would not be where we are today. Something in the Jewish culture allowed us to have this intuition, this chutzpah, which lead us to take bold steps and to believe that we can actually succeed. It's one thing to take a bold step, it's another thing to really believe that the bold step is going to work.
He put a mall in Beersheba, and nobody was in Beersheba in those days. People laughed at him. And it became the hub and the commercial center of Beersheba. So if it's chutzpah to say, I believe in the Negev, and I'm going to put a business here so that there'll be opportunity, and I'll create parnassah, ability to make money for the residents, then that's chutzpah. Chutzpah in the best of the meaning.
When my father came to Israel in the 80s to begin all those things, he showed incredible faith in the people of Israel and real belief in their ability to succeed on their own terms, not by handouts from other people.
And he could have chosen any country that has no wars, no upheavals, no political pressures. But David Azrieli believed in Israel and believed that what he can do for Israel will make a difference.
When David Azrieli decides to do a project, he studies it from all angles. He makes sure it's what he thinks it is. And then when he goes forward, he knows that it's going to succeed. I mean, he built the Azrieli Center 3 buildings in the center of Tel Aviv. Who else would have done that?
The Azrieli Towers, that magnificent commercial, cultural complex, is but one case study of a visionary who has transformed the face of Israel itself.
Most people probably know my dad. He's famous for his contributions to architecture and bringing them all to Israel. And in the past 10 to 15 years, we always believed in giving back in the family. But he's brought that in a huge way with the Azrieli Foundation. And we're very proud that we give so much back to architecture, arts, to Weizmann, to things that we believe in, and especially things that have a Jewish origin.
He is committed to take a positive energy out of his personal and communal and national experience. And this is very unique. He's a great friend of Yad Vashem. He's one of the leaders of the need to find a balance between the remembrance and the future.
It is extremely important in places as young as Israel to have examples, to have exemplary individuals who really know how to make philanthropy a part of what you do.
You know, it's just like him to give to the Weizmann Institute in applied systems biology, which is some sort of futuristic thing which is very hard to understand. And when you think about it, it's just like him because he is so truly a man of vision.
You really get a sense that he wants to be connected to outstanding people, and he has this ability to recognize them. When he comes here and he sees the people at the Weizmann Institute, I think he gets excited by the brightness of the people, by the ideas, maybe also by their chutzpah again. And I think that made him tickle. He wants to be there, he wants to play again.
The Weizmann Institute is known the world over, particularly for the originality of the breakthroughs that are made here across the different fields. In order to really understand the human cell, we need to make some breakthroughs of basic science. We need to make new concepts, new ways of thinking, new mathematical ways of reasoning.
Our collective understanding of human disease, in particular cancer, is that these are genetic diseases in the sense that they are caused by mutations and changes in the DNA that should not happen, but they happen. People have been working for many years on trying to crack codes. A very famous example of working on the Enigma code in World War II and trying to understand and crack that. So here we're faced with a similar problem of we have a code in the DNA sequence. We know that encodes life and biology and biological interactions, but we don't know the rules. We don't know the actual, how that language is written. What are the words there? How do you break it up into sentences? What's the grammar? So this is what we're trying to discover.
It's a bit like biologists have been driving down roads trying to get from A to B. And what systems biology allows you to do is to zoom out and take kind of the Google map view, bird's eye view of the world of opportunities of biology and look down at the terrain and ask, what are the most interesting places that I want to be going to?
Once we have that understanding, we will be able to, down the road, hopefully, look at all these changes, pinpoint the ones that really are the ones that are causing the damage, and then hopefully go and even fix them, because we will know what to fix them to.
So our dream is, through the center, to allow the students and scientists here to follow their curiosity with no delay. When you have the idea, just go for it without having to wait for years in order to get funding. And in that way to make breakthroughs that hopefully will be as significant as antibiotics in changing our lives, changing the quality of life for our children and our grandchildren. It takes great vision, I think, to appreciate that by letting scientists follow their curiosity and playing around, you're actually benefiting humanity on the long term. That's exactly what we'd like to achieve here.
I see both the Weizmann and David as visionaries propelling forward with their drive and ambition to create a much better world.
And in 50 years from now, it's going to be like, wow, what a visionary. Who knew that in applied systems biology we were going to discover whatever we're going to discover.
David Azrieli actually showed that if you are decisive to reach what you have put on as a goal or as a target, you reach it.
If you spoke only about Canada, you could speak in an ongoing way about the enormous contributions he's made. And then it's hard to realize, wow, you mean it's not just Canada, it's also Israel. This is a man, that has made historical contributions.
I think his goals remain the same. He is still a builder. He still thinks of the projects he's got in mind, the projects that he's working on. There is no stopping David Azrieli.
He's amazing. I think the guy is just going to continue to do in the manner in which he has done.
I can define him in one word. I say it in Hebrew and then I'll translate. Adam Gadol, a gigantic person.
He speaks to us sometimes what we will do 10 years from now and 15 years from now, and we are the youngest. But for him, a plan of 15 years, it's like something that you have to think about it tomorrow and today.
And when we at the Weizmann Institute are developing these new ideas and new technologies, it goes out to the world. And I think that's what the role of the State of Israel should be. And I think that's what people like David Azrieli are pushing us to do all the time. Not only in Israel, we don't need only to establish this. I want you to show to the world what we can do when we work right, in the right fields, with the right people.
For 90 years, your life has been one of stellar achievement, from escaping Nazi-occupied Poland to studying in Haifa, from building duplexes in Montreal to constructing skyscrapers in Tel Aviv, from promoting academic excellence through the Azrieli Foundation to then going back to school yourself at Carleton University. You've constantly inspired everyone around you. Your work also goes a long way to strengthening the ties between Canada and Israel. En tant qu'architecte et auteur, en tant que chef d'entreprise et philanthrope, vous contribuez à bâtir un monde meilleur. It was a real pleasure to meet with you and your family in my office in Ottawa. For all the years ahead, I wish you the best.